Hello everyone, you've seen this, but I haven't talked about it. I'm going to talk about it because I filled it up. I filled the Pico case again, and so now it's kind of like this is my little mixing rig. The Qubit Mixology is a 4-channel voltage controlled mixer. It's basically 4 VCAs, and you may think, well, whoop-dee, I already have a bunch of VCAs. This, though, also gives voltage control over pan position, and it has an effect send, kind of like an auxiliary mix, which you also have voltage control over. There's a mute button for each channel, a solo button for each channel, and these faders have LEDs on them that go out, so you have a visual indication of the level for that channel. This is the master channel over here. I have everything muted at the moment. This is the Zlob modular passive attenuate. I already had this. I put it in here so it could be a sub-mixer, perhaps, for the Qubit, since 4 channels is really not enough. I always have more than 4 things to mix, so I need sub-mixers to break that down and feed into here. Over here, the noise engineering Klep Diaz. Probably the only noise engineering module I'll get, not because they're bad, but just because the panel graphics are ugly. It's my personal taste, and I don't care much for the way they look. But as far as functionality, this thing's pretty neat. It's sort of like an LFO, but it divides the voltage range up into discrete digital steps based on the number of steps you select via this encoder knob right here. And then it plays through the steps in the direction that you choose, either up, up and down, or down. And it will increment to the next step in the sequence every time it receives a clock pulse. So you can sort of synchronize that movement with your master clock, and I thought that was pretty nifty. Plus it has a bipolar and a unipolar output, so that seemed like it would be maximum useful in the minimum space. And because the Mixology, using, if I wanted to control every parameter, that has got to be 12 CVs, and I don't have that many modulators in my rack, so I felt like I needed another one. And then to go with it, right here is the Livestock Electronics Felix buffered mult, which will take it's got 2 sides, and each channel is a 1 input to 3 outputs mult. Or if you don't plug anything into channel 2, then channel 1 is multed to all 6 outputs. And each output has an attenuverter knob, so you can attenuate and invert, and basically have 6 differently scaled versions of the same CV signal. That seemed like the right answer for getting modulating CVs to this, and so that's my little mixer rig. And what am I feeding it? Let's unmute one of these channels and find out. Let me unmute the right one first. Oh yes, and I've got the Hendrickson connected, and so there's that. What we are hearing is mutable plats. Oh, my camera cable's That's as close as I can get. Platts is going into Hendrickson, which is feeding that signal over here to an overdrive and a flanger, and that's what we're hearing. And a CV from Kleptias is causing that to pan from side to side. And I've got an inverted version of that signal panning this to the opposite side, so they're moving in up there. That's the same signal inverted, so they're drifting to opposite sides as they move. Now there's some percussion, and I'm using one of my homemade passive mixers for 3 channels of percussion that I'm blending in, and the percussion is being sent just a little bit to the DSP down there in a real deep reverb mode. And this is off kilter because I'm using the 2 clocks from the CLX, sort of differently clocking various parts of this patch. So yeah, they don't match up, and it sounds like, well, it sounds like this. And then my last thing is the sampler being pitch warped through the delay down here, and the amount of effect send is being modulated. If I hit the solo button, then we only hear that. So the amount of reverb on that is subtly changing cyclically. Anyway, that's not exactly what I meant to build when I sat down here. I wanted to put together something that would kind of demonstrate some of the functionality of my new stuff, but that's how it goes. When you sit down at the modular, one patch leads to another, and if you don't really have a strict written down plan like I had that time, when was that, 2 weeks ago, the nice melodic thing that I did in F where everything was charted and meticulous. Yeah, if you don't plan ahead, you wind up with things like this, or at least I do. It's kind of interesting, but I'm not sure I can do anything with that. It needs work. Anyhow, the experimental things wind up on my Patreon if I record them into an audio format, and then the things that I think are pretty good will eventually make their way to my Bandcamp page, and I will put those links on the screen. You may peruse them if you wish. Thanks to my Patreon patrons. Once again, they financed all of this. So, yeah, thanks you guys. Great. You're very generous, and I appreciate it. And all of you watching, if you found this interesting, please like and subscribe. That means almost as much to me as a monetary donation, to be honest. Anyways, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll catch you next time.